Good Tuesday evening. Welcome to BCP Live. Hi, I'm Joey McWilliams. I'm going to make sure I'm on the right screen over here, have everything going on as we are live, broadcasting live from Bryan County, Oklahoma. And as always, it's a privilege to get to visit with you all on these Tuesday nights. Now, this week will be the first week in 2021 in which we're going to have two shows in a week. Normally, we've just gone to this weekly format, and we've kind of gotten locked in on Tuesday nights, and that's all right. Actually, I kind of like it that way. I enjoy the consistency. There's actually basketball going on tonight. If you watch the NCAA men's basketball tournament, spoiler alert, Gonzaga's moving on, so just thought I'd throw that one out there. I have been, and I'll tell my guests this right now, I have been, other than my teams, my OSU, my Tennessee, my Oklahoma, my Oral Roberts, by the way, that I would cheer for anyway in the tournament, I have been for Gonzaga since the start. So just saying, not like it was a tough pick.
Yeah, you didn't go out on a limb.
No, no, not at all. But as some of you all are coming on tonight, I'll go ahead and take the time to introduce my guest here on this Tuesday night, our regular Tuesday night broadcast, Darin Grover, who is the women's basketball coach for Southeastern. And it is a Southeastern week here. And Coach, I really appreciate you taking some time on a Tuesday night to just stop by and visit with us a little bit.
Joey, you're getting close to my bedtime, so if I get a little groggy, now you know why.
That's funny too, because I'm pretty sure if we were in season right now, I'm sure film goes a little bit into the night some, right?
Yeah, normally it's me sitting in front of the TV with a laptop in my lap, watching film and trying to watch TV at the same time. So yes, you'd be correct in that.
Well, shout out really quickly to Dottie. Dottie, you're here for the beginning tonight. I sure am glad to get to see your name come up there. And Seth Dutton, who I think he's doing double duty right now. You know what? Because I think we're in set 5 over at Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium. And somewhere right now, Seth Dutton is looking to say Point Southeastern. So we hope he says that a few more times. We'll talk about volleyball a little bit later on. Right now, I want to talk volleyball because I have the man for Southeastern, the women's basketball team. So I slipped over into basketball. Coach, 13-8, you finished the season, I think, on a high. Now, I realize that last game was a loss. We'll get to that in just a moment. But when you looked at the start of this season, knowing all the different things that went on, and the season was delayed and pushed back, but that you had a season that I felt like, from an outsider's perspective, man, it was a good year. Talk about the year as a whole.
Well, I'll say this: we definitely ended. You mentioned that we lost our last game, which was the conference championship game, but we won 5 out of our last 6, and really felt good about that. We all knew going into COVID that it was going to be starts and stops and things like that, and luckily we actually didn't miss any games due to COVID. We actually missed a game due to a power outage and due to weather, and did not miss a game to COVID as far as a team goes. We missed some important players during the stretch, and we actually started off our season with our really 2 of our best players and 2 of the best players in the conference that were absent for us the first 3 and 4 games of the year. So it was an interesting start, and through all the testing and all that, every time that you took a test, you kind of just held your breath, hoping that you wouldn't see a positive on that test result, and hoping that you wouldn't see your players as positives or get exposed. Because that's the other thing people didn't think about is whether one of our players tested positive. That's one thing, but if they tested positive, then who did they expose? Or did one of our players get exposed in a classroom or at somebody else's house? Those were all variables that every team in America had to face, and it made for a challenging year.
That's actually one of the things I wanted to point out. It was just what you mentioned. I mean, to make a run like what you all did, not losing a game as a team to COVID. And by the way, that's not just what your team did, but the way the other teams that you were playing, when you played them, they everything was going right for them too. The weather I get, because we obviously had the polar vortex, and Siberia wound up in my front yard a few weeks back, but the power outage, and I thought, it's not funny. I mean, I'm sure at the time you're like, what in the world? But a power outage?
Yeah, we faced during the year, of course, we faced COVID, which is something completely new to all of us. We faced a power outage that really affected basically our campus only, which included the arena. We all know about the weather. We also had a water issue that at least delayed one of our games. It didn't cancel, but it delayed one of our games. So it was an interesting year, to say the least. I haven't faced any of those things. Weather, I've faced weather delays and weather cancellations, but the other three I've never faced as a coach, and I've done this 26 years. So yes, it was interesting, but it was good that we got as many games in as we did, especially with COVID looming, and many teams weren't that lucky.
You mentioned winning 5 of your last 6 games, and I really do think that's something that needs to be brought out. Now, there are coaches on campus who will chide me every now and again saying the past is in the past. So when I take the opportunity to visit with you again at the start of the next season, I will probably say, hey, Coach, you won 5 of your last 6. Do you take anything into the new year, especially because you have so many underclassmen? What does something like that mean? Does it really carry over? Can you build on that?
No, not at all. You can. That's what we really honestly expect to do, and I think that's where our level of our program is right now. But to say that that's going to carry over into November 12th, the next time that we take the floor, or the next time we scrimmage, which will be in October, that would be lying, because it's going to be a completely new team, and well, I shouldn't say a completely new team, but we'll have a number of new faces, but we'll be working on different things throughout September and October and November. So I don't think that momentum really honestly carries over. And a lot of people those are good. That's good coach speak, but that's not reality whatsoever. What was so difficult about this year was having Briley Moon, who was exposed and had to sit out for 2 weeks. The same thing with Cameron Cantwell. Well, that it's one thing that those kids missed for 2 weeks, but then once they got back, we didn't have much practice time, because we played 3 games 1 week and then turned around and played 2 games the next, and then went back to 3 games and then 2 games and 3 games, where you're basically only practicing every other day. And to get your rhythm back and really get your timing back, especially offensively, is a difficult thing. And I thought that's where we kind of fell short for a great deal of the season, was offensive, just having our kids working together. I thought we defended the whole year. I thought we were very, very consistent defensively, but we were not consistent offensively. But by the end, we had finally figured out our rhythm, and we're doing a better job on that side of the ball by the end of the season. And that was partly the reason that we were able to win 5 out of our last 6.
I had a couple more things that I do want to mention. And by the way, as we're speaking with Coach Darin Grover here on BCP Live on a Tuesday night, don't forget to tune in Thursday night. We'll get to visit with Coach Tyler Fenwick from the Southeastern football team, as it's a Southeastern week here on the Bryan County Patriots. 5th set over at Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium right now, Southeastern and East Central on senior night, tied at 2 sets apiece. We'll keep you up to speed on that one. But Coach, you talked about the couple of players in particular, and I do want to bring them out, because they not only did they have good seasons, all conference performers as well. Cameron Cantwell, who was the tournament MVP when you all won the tournament starting to be a couple seasons ago now, as it feels like a long, long time, all the way back in 2020 when you all won the GAC conference tournament. And she was an all-conference performer, as was Briley Moon. And I would imagine, it's tough to say. I think there's a fallacy of logic in there somewhere to say, well, the record would have been different if we'd had those players. But you have to think, there's probably a chance, because there was a lot of quality play that wasn't on the court at that time at the start of the year, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Cameron Cantwell averaged almost 17 points a game for us, and then Briley Moon with basically a point less than her. So you're talking about the better part of 40 points between those two players. Briley Moon is one of the best shooters in the country, and I don't think there's an argument about that. And then Cameron Cantwell can do it all, whether it shoot the 3 or take the ball off the dribble. And I do think that their rhythm was interrupted a little bit, but those 2 players were big for us this year. They earned their all-conference honors and showed how good of players they are. And I feel like that's some 2 people that we're going to definitely be counting on next year when we get going. Another player that really played well this year was a senior, and who is not going to come back, and she's not going to go ahead and use her year that she could if she wanted to, is Katie Branham. She really, especially down the stretch, played big for us in those wins, and we'll definitely miss her next year.
Coach, she was one of those players too that I know because of injuries, you never seemed like we didn't get to see all that we could see from her play on the court. And this was this then really a time this year for her to step out and show more?
It was, but a lot of people, she took a little bit of a back seat last year, not because of ability, but because of the makeup of the team. But 2 years ago, she was really big for us. 2 years ago, we had a lot of injuries, and she was just really a consistent performer for us. Another player I don't want to fail to mention is Jordan Benson. Has been a player that's been with us for the past 3 years, and she is really stepped up and became our best on the ball defender and was consistent for us from start to finish. And you could always count on what Jordan Benson was going to give to us offensively and defensively.
It was a fun team to watch, and Coach Darin Grover coached teams are always fun. Say that 5 times fast, but they always are fun to watch. Coach, I enjoy it. Of course, from a broadcaster's perspective, you have to know the roster. You definitely have to know the roster because you're going to see a number of players come in and out, but it's generally a quick game. You're going to see players that are going to come out and defend well. And I want to talk about that defense here in just a moment, but you're going to see a lot of players come in and just it's fun. It's fun to watch your teams play. I would just say that.
Hopefully people see that our kids play with energy and effort, and we offensively, we kind of run a unique motion offense where we have a lot of movement, especially on the backside, away from the ball. And so yeah, I feel like it's a fun style to play, and normally, if you've got good players, any style is successful. And so I think that right now we have a collection of good players, and they make our style look good. They make us as coaches look good whenever they're knocking down shots.
Well, hey, listen, I appreciate the humility in that, but you've done a good job of making your teams and putting them in a position for them to make you look good. We're speaking now with Darin Grover here on BCP Live. Thanks to everybody for watching. Ronald, hello. Good to have you on tonight. And Ronnie, man, I'm glad you stopped by tonight too. Thank you very much for that. Feel free to give us a comment. I want to ask you then about the conference tournament, Coach. We got the win. I say we. I'm a Southeastern alum, so I'm going to go ahead and you don't say that really often, but I'm going to go ahead and say we got the win, the conference tournament win in 2020. I know that was one that had eluded the program for a while, and some quality teams went up to Bartlesville and just unfortunately came away unsuccessful. But the big win, and then interestingly enough, you go on the road this year because the conference tournament was playing at higher seeds. Getting all 12 teams in the conference involved. It was really a unique year from the conference tournament perspective. Then you wound up getting to host the championship in Durant. I think that was really, really neat. But I think the bigger thing, and this is what I'll remember besides just that, what the Southeastern women's basketball team did to get to the championship game. You beat Harding, and you held them under 60 points. You beat Arkansas Tech, and you held them under 60 points. And for those of you that are familiar with the Great American Conference, those are two teams that excel when it comes into conference tournament time. And what Southeastern did just to get to the championship game, Coach, that stands out to me. I think as big as anything.
Yeah, both of those teams have historically been good even before the Great American Conference ever existed. Two very well coached teams, and teams that have been good for a long time and have had championship experience within the Great American Conference. I felt like I mentioned earlier that I felt like defensively we were consistent all year long, and our kids really answered the call. The first round we played Harding, again a historically great program. We're able to play really, really well defensively, and then go to Russellville, to Arkansas Tech, and hold a team that it was the best offensive team in the conference, at least statistically, to what you mentioned. And I felt that was big, and really did it in the championship game too. We just didn't have enough offensive firepower to go ahead and score 2 or 3 more points to pull out whether it's an overtime or or the win. But one way or the other, I felt good about defensively where we were this year. What was unique about this year, though, was we played everybody, or we were scheduled to play everybody in Oklahoma 4 times.
Yeah.
So, that means you're playing East Central 4 times. You're playing Southwestern, which we all know how good Southwestern is, 4 times. And you just got to know each other. And it was difficult to go play those teams over and over and over again and come up with a defensive game plan to try to figure out, to guess what they were going to do offensively. And, of course, the same thing was true for those coaches that played us. They were trying to have it to figure out exactly what we might change from the previous meeting.
Coach, the championship games, you all fell to Southern Nazarene in the championship. That game, I expected it to be a tightly contested game. You all had played a 1 point game the last time that you two met. And so I expected it to be one of those. I expected to go back and forth. I don't know that I've ever seen a game. It was textbook of a game of runs. One team would make a run, another team would make a run, went back and forth, and literally throughout the entirety of the contest. And if it's a 59-minute game, you all win. If it's a 61-minute game, I think you all win. 39 minutes and 41 minutes. Sorry, I don't know where I am on that.
You're on football.
I'm on the football
field
anyway. You says 39-minute game, you all win. If it's 41 minutes, you all win. It was a 40-minute game, and it was just right there where Southern Nazarene had their little run. But what a contest, though. I mean, I know you would like to have gotten the W there, but what was that like, being a part of a game like that?
Well, credit them. They play so hard and so physical, and really, you mentioned it was a game of runs, and we had gone on a run, and then they just went on that last run, and we turned it over too much, and didn't do a good enough job of getting defensive rebounds there toward the end. But I'm big in believing that every single point, every single rebound, every single turnover from start to finish matters towards the final score. And so in the end, we made mistakes in the first half that would have helped us at the end, or that you can talk about that last minute that we made some key mistakes. But it was a fun game to be part of, and especially it was a fun game to host a championship game, a championship environment at home, and be able to do that. I thought our kids were excited. I thought our kids are ready. Unfortunately, we just, as you said, we either ran out of time or there wasn't enough. However you want to say it, but bottom line, they were able to finish off the game, and you got to play those 40 minutes.
That's a game I really would have liked to have gone to overtime, just to see. It was just such a good contest, and it was a fun game. Well, Coach, I want to say thank you very much for your time tonight. As we wrap it up, again, promoting Southeastern. Southeastern, by the way, on the volleyball court, I don't know if you've got the stats in front of you as well. Southeastern was trailing East Central 14-12 in the 5th set. And of course, in the 5th set, it goes to 15. The Savage Storm have rattled off 3 consecutive points and now are up 15-14. You have to win by 2. So this is a big, big game going on right now, and somewhere Seth Dutton's probably losing his mind. So anyway, we'll see if Southeastern gets that last point. We'll see if you can hear Point Southeastern from wherever you are in Bryan County right now. Coach, it was a big game. You you earned the bid to the NCAA tournament with the conference tournament championship back in 2020. I know that you didn't get to play. This year, the field was not 64, but it was in fact 48. And because of that, only 6 teams came from each region. Of course, the Great American Conference in the South Central region this year, which is, by the way, where the national champion came from, out of the South Central region in Lubbock Christian. In another year, it's very possible that even with the loss in the championship game, you all might have made that a field of 8 in the region. Did you think about that? Did you feel like that you all were close?
Oh, we were close. So you can just look at the way that the regional ranking committee put us, and we were probably, whether we were right there at 7 or 8, somewhere in that neighborhood. What was interesting about that was Arkansas Tech actually had a COVID case and didn't get to play. And the way that the NCAA or the committee decided to do it was they basically just advanced that team that Arkansas Tech was going to play. They got to go ahead and advance to the next round. So they only played with 5 in our region, in that region
Right.
tournament. We were definitely close, and I don't know whether we would have gotten in there or not if it's a regular year, because we would have played more games, so that you would have to factor that in. But I interestingly enough, I think that probably had Southwestern beaten Southern Nazarene in that semifinal game, we probably get in, win or lose, in the championship game. We probably sneak in, and that's speculation because it didn't happen. But one way or the other, we were close. We were right there on the edge with the best teams in the region. We just need to. That goes back to earlier in the season. There were some key losses that we had that we have to come out with wins, so that we don't have to we don't have to rely on that automatic bid, and you never want to have to rely on that automatic bid.
Well, I think you make a valid point. I really do. I agree with you, by the way. Speculation is what it is, but that's some of the fun of sports too, is you get to see how and think about how it might work out. East Central back on top, 17-16 now at match point. So fifth set going long at Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium. Coaches, as we wrap up here really quickly, I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking time with us tonight. I know we get to promote Southeastern, and when we're done here in a moment, I'm going to continue promoting Southeastern. Softball wins today, volleyball going long, and East Central has just taken the fifth set, 18-16. So senior night, the rivals come away with the victory, but I think we go to Ada with the next. I think there's still, the volleyball team will go to Ada here and wrap up the regular season there, so get one more opportunity. But boy, the fans at Bloomer Sullivan Gymnasium definitely got their money worth tonight. I know you get in free, folks. I'm just teasing, but still, definitely it was a big night there. So unfortunately, East Central comes away with the win. Thank you so much for taking time to just talk about Southeastern basketball with us and talk about a great year. And I commend you, Coach. I know I don't want to sound like a homer, but I appreciate what you do. I love watching your teams play. I do my best during a GAC broadcast to not sound like a homer and try to make it. You
don't have to do that. You can sound like a homer all you want.
But I appreciate you, and I'm very thankful that we have you here in Durant at Southeastern.
Well, thanks for those words, Joey, and I appreciate you always trying to promote Southeastern athletics. I know everybody here in the athletic department, all the coaches, appreciate that as well.
Well, thank you very much, man. Get some rest. I don't want you to, just drift off tomorrow because we kept you up too long. God bless you, man. Have a great night.
Thanks, Joey.
That is Coach Darin Grover, Southeastern's women's basketball coach. And we're going to have Tyler Fenwick on Thursday night, special Thursday night broadcast here from BCP Live. So I encourage you to stick around for that. Okay, Southeastern fell volleyball 18-16, unfortunately. And the Savage Storm volleyball team, I believe, drops to 1-8 now. I think that is the record on the season this year. I just want to say how close this Southeastern volleyball team is. I just have watched them play, and I realize it's about the W's and the L's, but I think this is a team to watch. And if we get through all this, COVID stuff and who can watch the games and who can't, because you have to keep everything down to a limited number in facilities. When you get the chance to watch this team, I believe Coach Nicole Sola-Mitchell is putting this team in the right place. So I think they're going to be fun to watch in the future. And one more game, this will be up at Ada a little bit later on to wrap up the regular season. All right, softball team, 2 wins today. And let me see if I can pull this one up here. 1 win, 1-0. That was in game 2 over Midwestern State. Now, no longer in the same conference with us, but Midwestern State, a 5-4 win in extra innings earlier, and then a 1-0 win. Southeastern has won 4 consecutive games, and the record now on the season, 21-3. Southeastern softball is getting it done. We've already talked about Southeastern women's basketball getting it done. The volleyball team coming along. So many things happening at Southeastern. So we'll talk some football on Thursday night. Now, before I go, shout out to everyone watching tonight. Thank you for stopping by here. We will get all this done in less than half an hour tonight. I know. So anyway, all right, let me share the screen here. There we go. All right, this was brought to my attention today. A friend of mine, Ronnie Walters, who has Texoma Financial Services here in Bryan County. And by the way, Ronnie has some other endeavors going on too that I hope we get a chance to talk about very soon. not only on the Bryan County Patriot, but also BCP Live. We'll have him on another time to talk about some of the other ventures he has going on. His brother, Dave, and Dave's wife are facing some extremely difficult medical issues. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this to you. This is from the Facebook page that was posted, and this was put up by the folks at Coleman Schools, okay? Dave Walters had taught out there for a while, and the folks put together something for the family. I'm going to read this to you really quickly. As you all know, Dave and Melissa have faced some extremely difficult medical issues in the past few years, with this year being one of the hardest. As a colleague, a friend, and fellow believer, I felt led for months to do something for the family, and this is Melissa, who works at the school, to do something for this family. It's easy to say what needs to be done, but it's something different to put to action those words. So here we go. We will be collecting items to auction now through March 31st. I'm working around my camera here to see if I can read this. You can donate services, gift certificates, home-cooked meals, baked goods, artwork, guided hunts, autographed items, concert tickets, weekend getaways, timeshares, fishing trips, cabin rentals, massages, hair services, tire services, dirt work, car maintenance. You dream it, you name it, you donate it. And so that there's going to be then a Facebook auction. Now, I've never heard of a Facebook auction before. It's a thing. So there you go. Actually gets underway on Thursday night at 6 o'clock. We'll run through Sunday night at 6 o'clock. And so they're going to post all the things that have been donated. And then folks who want to give to this family, then they can put in the comment section, I want to, here's my auction. I'm going to bid this much on this auction. It's going to run for 72 hours, and then you have the opportunity to give. And if you want to go to this Facebook page, it is Loving on the Walters Family. Love God, love people. You can find that on Facebook. So check that out there, and you can see a little bit more about this. I think this is a really cool idea. Of course, it's always good to get to give to folks. It's good sometimes to just donate the money straight up. That can be done too. But when people are giving things out and saying, hey, listen, okay, I want to bid on that, all the money is going directly to the Walters family. But you get something else out of it to boot, and you get a guided tour, or you get dirt work done, or you get something like that. That's a pretty neat thing too. And for me, as much as anything, this is one of those things that you're saying, well, the community is showing up. The community is saying, hey, I want to be a part of this. I want to give something. I may not have a lot to give, but I have something, or monetarily, but I have something that I can do. Somebody else can bring out the monetary value, and then I can bless them by giving what I have, whatever it may be. So that is cool. Loving on the Walters Family. You can look that up on Facebook. Check that out, and I think it's a neat thing. All right. I believe that is it for the night. I think that is it for the night. We went to freshman parent, not really orientation, but we were at the high school tonight, Durant High School, because the twins are going to be freshmen in the fall. I know. You're saying, Joey, you can't possibly be that old that your twins are now 14 and going to be freshmen in the fall. I know. I agree. But there it is. So Mrs. Patriot and I are looking around going, where has the time gone? Oh my goodness. And we still have we'll have 3 actually at the high school. Jails will be a junior this year too. So, wow. I don't know. Where has the time gone? Anyway, God bless you all. Thank you for watching tonight. I would really want you to tune in, by the way, on Thursday night. It'll be a 9 o'clock start time, and we'll have Coach Tyler Fenwick here. We'll talk some football. How long has it been since we've talked football here? We need to talk a little football. So please tune in for that. Don't forget, these are, oh, thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate that. I'll say that here in just a moment. These are also broadcast on YouTube. So most everyone watches this on Facebook. I see almost every comment that comes on Facebook. But this is something that's on YouTube too. So please feel free to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Stop it. Feel free to to subscribe to the YouTube channel. The Midwest Sports, by the way, the YouTube channel, the Bryan County Patriot YouTube channel has crossed 100 subscribers. So yay. Feel free to subscribe. And the Midwest Sports Net YouTube channel, which I encourage everyone to subscribe to, also has crossed 500 now. So we've crossed the top of the mountain there. Now we're moving down toward 1,000. The goal's 1,000. So please feel free to subscribe for that. Thursday, which is not tomorrow, Thursday, on the Bryan County Patriot Facebook page, we will be giving away, or actually we're going to be drawing a name for a gift card for the Trippy Hippie. Now, how do you get your name in the drawing for the gift card for the Trippy Hippie? I'm glad you asked that question. You go to Texoma Financial Services LLC Facebook page and share that page. That's what you do. That's how you get it done. Share the page, Texoma Financial Services LLC. And I believe also, Ronnie, if you're still there, share the Trippy Hippie page too. I think that's right. Tell me if I'm right. I just want the affirmation. That's all I'm looking for right now. I'm just looking for, that's what I want in my life right now. I'd like affirmation. So if somebody could please tell me I'm right. I know if Mrs. Patriot is watching right now, she's not going to be that person. Not going to happen. There we go. Okay. I said I'd get this done in less than 30 minutes. I was wrong. So Ronnie says I'm right. Share the Trippy Hippie page or share the Texoma Financial. Share the Texoma Financial Services. And Ronnie is just a fun guy. All right. So let me close this out really quickly. Go Pokes. Let me close this out really quickly saying this. Be wise. Be wise. If you don't feel like you have wisdom, ask God. He said he would give you generously, liberally, and without finding fault. Number 2, walk in love. It hurts nothing to walk in love. Sometimes it can hurt everything to be upset, harbor a grudge, be unforgiving. Walk in love today. And finally, and third, and very importantly, do not walk in fear. Have respect for situations around you, but do not walk in fear. Dottie, thank you for sticking around. Ronnie and everyone else who stuck around for the whole thing. I know there are lots of people that came and went over the course of the night. Thanks to Darin Grover, who was with us tonight. Don't forget, Thursday night at 9 o'clock, right here on Facebook and on YouTube. Please subscribe. You're going to get to hear from Coach Tyler Fenwick, the Southeastern Savage Storm football coach. And we leave you with these words of wisdom. Don't be like Jack. Don't lick the windows. Did Jack lick the windows? I hope Jack didn't lick the windows. I don't know. We'll find out more. Maybe on Thursday night. God bless you all. Have a great night.